Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is time for us to continue some more Tyrion Cuthbert. Last time we did finish up the investigation, or at least part of the investigation into Wallace. We did learn that Corin was a steel wind, which I don't think is going to have much issue, but it has kind of messed with, Tyrion's entire conception of things. But we did interrogate Miriam on the stand, and we did learn that when she ran into Bellwether, she was like yelling, "Be quiet." Same thing that Jan said. So now we have Jan on the stand. All right.
Witness, please state your name and occupation for the courtroom. Witness, name and occupation.
Right. My name is not Jan Hughes. I'm on the cleaning staff of the academy.
Mr. Hughes, please testify to the court about your encounter with the professor that day.
Alright. So the professor, when I was cleaning the West Wing hallways, it was around 20-30 minutes before the body was discovered. She walked by me, but she looked pretty out of it. I heard she was undead when this happened. Pretty creepy, if you ask me. After that, she went into the empty classroom. Well, that was straightforward.
Come on, Jan. What are we supposed to do with that?
I don't know. You guys are the lawyers. I'm just telling you what I saw.
Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination.
Let's press everything. How are you so sure that was 30 minutes before? I always check the time to make sure I'm on schedule. I was supposed to finish cleaning the halls by 3 p.m.
Right, the body was discovered at 3:04 p.m.
What was the professor like, Mr. Hughes?
Did anything else look off about her?
Yeah, probably she was an undead after all.
That remains to be proven.
If you say so.
Anyways, what was her demeanor like?
She looked like she was in a bad mood. Either that or she was tired, but I guess she was actually dead.
I believe you've forgotten a few details about what the professor did.
Yeah? Yeah, it's hard to remember these things sometimes.
Did you hear her make any sounds?
Oh yeah. After she knocked over the vase, she yelled at me to be quiet. I didn't even say anything.
This detail could be extremely important. Please add it to your testimony, Mr. Hughes.
Oh, whatever you say, man.
Did she touch anything?
Oh, yeah. She knocked over a vase and shattered it. Might have been an accident, but she's done stuff like that on purpose before.
This detail could be extremely important. Please add it to your testimony, Mr. Hughes.
Oh, whatever you say, ma'am.
Wait, it changes it. Which we can... Okay, now we can do this. Wait. Did you see anyone else enter that classroom?
I'm honestly not sure. I wasn't paying much attention to her. I did think that it was weird that she went in there. That funky smell, I can't think of any reasons why someone would go there.
He's not giving us a lot to work with. He tends to leave out details unless we ask directly about them. Okay, I know exactly what we need to do. We need to fix this one. Because this contradicts reanimate corpse. Because they cannot speak.
Objection!
Mr. Hughes, you said that Bellwether yelled at you. What were her exact words?
I think she yelled at me to be quiet.
What?
Thought it was weird. I didn't even say anything. You know, it's better than to talk back to her.
That's the thing, Mr. Hughes. The prosecutor's theory is as follows. The professor was murdered in the library and reanimated using animate corpse. With a quick illusion spell, no one would notice that she was undead. However, if what you saw was truly the undead Bellwether, how does she speak to you? Huh?
This can't be right.
Mr. Hughes, undead can follow simple orders, but they don't have the intelligence to speak.
Perhaps the witness was mistaken.
No, I'm sure I heard her yell at me. I remember because what she said didn't make any sense. Exactly. He didn't say anything, but she still yelled at him to be quiet. Wait a minute. I'm afraid I don't understand. We've already established the victim was dead long before her encounter with Mr. Hughes, but if he saw was an undead, what was it?
It had to be an undead. What other explanation is there?
Couldn't have been a major illusion. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to shove Jan out of the way or knock over her face. Whatever it was, someone probably used an illusory disguise to make it look like Bellwether. Does that mean it was a person? No. If it were a person, how did Bellwether's body end up in the lecture hall? Bellwether wouldn't have been able to turn herself invisible if she were dead. Whatever Jan saw, it needed to be something that could have transported Bellwether's body unseen. It would have needed to be a mask and the ability to speak. Or at the very least, it needed to be something that could recreate Bellwether's voice. I knew it! What else could have done that? This is the only thing. That's it!
What?
Everyone, the witness didn't actually hear the dead victim speaking. What he actually heard was Bellwether's voice being recreated using magic.
Are you trying to say that her voice was recreated using a spell?
Not a spell, Steelwind. It was an artificer. That's what they're called. And whoever the murderer is, they had the perfect piece of artificery available to them. One program of Catherine Bellwether's voice.
You can't possibly mean.
That's right, Steelwind. What Mr. Hughes saw was an arcane construct. An arcane construct? It's a magically animated suit of armor, Your Honor. But we ruled out such a possibility, hadn't we? Construct or not, no one could disguise himself and carry the body to the classroom. A person wouldn't have been able to do it, but arcane constructs are a different thing entirely. Those suits of armor are extremely large, but more importantly, they're hollow. Oh my god, I did not think about that. Sorry, I'm just remembering now. Fullmetal Alchemist. And I think in English they called her Martel. When she hides in Al's suit, and then sorry, this is spoilers for Fullmetal Alchemist, but we're talking about the original version, which it's been over 20 years ago. And like Bradley goes and like takes the sword and like stabs it into the suit of armor, killing Martel. That's immediately what went to my head. The suit of armor being hollow, carrying a human being inside. That's immediately what my brain went to. Also, like, the original Fullmetal Alchemist is my childhood. Like, I know, Brotherhood's fantastic, it's great, but I think the original Fullmetal Alchemist series is the reason why my brain goes dark whenever I think of any possibility, because that show is just like, but what if we took this concept and then went extremely dark with it? That means that theoretically, someone could have placed the victim's body inside it. The arcane construct wouldn't just transport the body. With an illusory disguise, it would also confuse and mislead anyone who saw it.
Objection! I commend your deduction, Mr. Cuthbert. I would never consider that possibility. It's certainly possible, but what does this prove exactly?
Proves that the body wasn't animated using necromancy. My client isn't the murderer.
The defendant is still capable of performing all of the acts that you described. His compendium contains illusory disguise, after all.
There were several students at the library that day. Any of them could have committed the murder.
One might come to that conclusion if they didn't have one crucial piece of evidence. I'd like to present a new piece of evidence to the court.
From under her table, Steelwind pulled out Marion Frego's bloody rapier. Sword, is that?
Yes, Your Honor. This is the murder weapon. This rapier was reported stolen by Marion Frege weeks before the murder. During the investigation, it was finally found in the defendant's locker.
Wait.
He was clearly trying to use one of her possessions in a paltry attempt to frame her. Why, he even stole her locker's nameplate and placed it over his.
We have information that so many people did that to him. Damn it. It wasn't what really happened. And honestly, it sounded more plausible than what really took place.
Well, we're basically back to square one, aren't we?
Anyone could have told that construct to do all those things. Wait, Was that really true? The construct transported the professor's body, and someone used an illusion to make it look like her. They even used a pre-recorded voice to make the illusion more convincing. Could anyone have done that? No, because the, order. Oh. It's either Bellwether or Redmond. I don't think it's Frege. It was at that moment that several memories flooded back to me. Be quiet. Contract's voice is amalgam of pre-recorded. Only the headmaster can change those settings. I forgot this, but also... Okay, I saw this in, not the previous episode, but the one before it. Like, I went back and was, like, double-checking the frame. I love this, like, picture of Eris. I'm not even kidding. This is the Eris I need to see more often. It's so cool looking. No, it was him the entire time.
What is it, Tyrion? Did you figure something out?
I did. I didn't like where this was going, but with the way the pieces were laid out, there was only one explanation. Steelwind, earlier you said that my client could have orchestrated this entire ruse, but that's simply not true.
How so? Anyone could have ordered the construct to carry the victim's body.
Yes, but not everyone can change what the constructs are able to say. Only one individual has the credentials for that. Theodore Redmond, headmaster of the Imperial Academy. Okay, here's my thing. I'm also questioning if Eris did this and is both. Like, here's my thing. We know that. Wait. Okay. If we look at it, Redmond, it makes sense for Redmond to kill Bellwether. And whether or not he has any desire to actually care for the, children that he's, like, putting into the academy and the scholarship and all that, or if he's just doing that to, like, make himself look good. So it would make sense why he's pushing the necromancy and then trying to make it look like a necromancer. But my thing is it possible? Because we know that Eris is able to control people and we know that we've seen her change what the headmaster has said. Now, whether or not... Hold on. Let me double check her magic. Because hers is also illusion. And what I'm trying to figure out, if she were to frame Redmond, because Redmond would have the most reason and motive to kill, how would that benefit? Unless there's another person in line for taking control of the academy that is someone in Eris's family. That would be the only other thing that I could think. But I'm not sure. Wait, you're not serious, are you? You think the headmaster did all this? I don't want to believe it, but he's the only person who could have done it.
That's completely ridiculous. Headmaster Redmond is 88 years old. He could never do something like this.
Steelwind, there's one common element between each of the witnesses' encounters with Bellwether. It's what Bellwether said to them.
She yelled at both of them to be quiet.
Miriam Frege was particularly surprised. She had a good relationship with the professor, but when greeted by the professor, Bellwether just shouted at her, almost as if the professor was responding indiscriminately. And recall her encounter with Jan Hughes. The professor knocked over a vase and shouted at him to be quiet immediately after, but he hadn't said anything.
She was responding to the sound of the vase breaking.
Now, let me ask you this, Steelwind. Where did Bellwether come from before she encountered Miss Frege and Mr. Hughes?
Her meeting
with the headmaster. It appears that the defense truly means to indict Theodore Redmond. If so, we have no choice but to take a brief recess until he can be brought here. There's no need. Fortunately for you, I was already in the gallery. The headmaster stood up from the gallery behind me and slowly made his way onto the witness stand.
Had he been there the entire time?
Now, please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Cuthbert. But are you trying to say I am the one who committed this crime?
I'm sorry, Mr. Redmond, but no matter how I look at it, everything I've found points to you.
No, there's no need to apologize. In fact, I should commend you on the lengths that you're going to defend dear Wallace.
The court appreciates your understanding, Mr. Redmond.
After all, she's... What? Now then, to clear the air, I suppose I should give my testimony on what happened that day. What's his beef with Arya, though? That day, I had a meeting scheduled with the professor at noon. She showed up at the expected time and we discussed various administrative matters. Our meeting went on for an hour, after which she prepared for her next class. Despite our many disagreements, we knew how to be civil with one another. After all, I had no reason to bear a personal grudge against her bull fucking shit.
I just can't see it. He seems like such a nice old man. Is he really the killer we're looking for?
He has to be. No one else could have orchestrated this entire plot. Except Eris, who would have controlled Redmond to do all of this. But then again, like, it doesn't make... Like, we don't know of what benefits the Ilmater. I think that's what her family name was. Yeah, Ilmater has. Like, what benefit would they have from getting rid of Redmond and Bellwether? Like, it would only make sense as if the replacement for Redmond would be... It technically would have probably been Bellwether, considering that they were trying to replace it. But if it was something in terms of, like, the natural... Or, you know, like... next in line or something like that. Line of succession. That's what it's called. Like, that would be the only thing. Why? Because there wouldn't be a reason for Eris to do this, necessarily. I just need to find out how to prove it. Really? Even after the way she's acted towards students and faculty? Make no mistakes, I've heard many complaints regarding her actions, and I've had many conversations with her to attempt to correct the behavior. At the end of the day, she was a remarkable professor, regardless of her lack of people skills. That's bullshit. Her testimony pretty much matches what we know so far. I'm not sure if he's lying or not. At the very least, we know that he's involved in the professor's murder. Oh, we can do that. We can do that. Objection! Redmond, did you hold no animosity towards Professor Bellwether? Of course not. I did have strong opinions about how she treated the students, but I always remained professional. We both did. Frankly, I find that hard to believe. In fact, I think you might have a very good reason to murder the professor. Considering that she was going to take your job.
What?
So you knew about that.
I'm sorry, but I don't follow. Just how was the professor going to take the headmaster's job?
According to Miriam Frege, Catherine Bellwether was currying favor with the school board. In fact, it was a plan to oust Mr. Redmond and appoint Bellwether as new headmaster of the academy.
What? But in any case, I doubt that the headmaster had any idea of this until now.
I'd like to remind the court of the witness's reaction just now. He said, so you knew about that. His reaction was one of surprise, but it was more wasn't surprised by this information. He was surprised that I knew this information.
That's...
Please, dear Arya. I may be a frail old man, but I'm perfectly capable of defending myself. If you have an explanation, Mr. Redmond, then by all means, I'd love to hear it. Gladly. It is true that I knew about Frege's plot beforehand, but I'd only just learned about it. On the day of the murder, the professor told me her plans. She was going to replace me as headmaster and replace the staff with her arcane constructs. Now, you might say that this would have given me the perfect motive to murder the professor. However, a supposed murder weapon was stolen from Lady Frega. This happened weeks before our meeting. I had no knowledge of their plan before she told me, and therefore I wouldn't have known to steal Lady Frega's weapon in an attempt to frame her. Hold on. Where's the other information? We had information. Where was it? Where was it? We have... Okay, this is it. According to Jan, Bellwether revealed this plan a few weeks ago.
Are you satisfied now, Mr. Cuthbert? There's no way that the headmaster could have come up with this plan. If he really did do this, that means he stole the rapier too, right?
Most likely.
His alibi makes sense. He couldn't have planned this whole thing unless he knew about Bellwether's plans. That would mean he knew about this weeks ago. And how did he even find out?
Best way to tell convincing lies to leave a lot of truths and only change one detail. Maybe Bellwether did tell him, but she actually told him weeks ago. How would I prove that? Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination.
We have it. It's with Jan.
Objection!
I don't know if this is where we press it. This is not where we press it. Okay, I think this is it. Maybe.
Objection!
Dang it, this isn't where we press it either. Maybe I'm supposed to press it and then present. Okay, let's start pressing. So you only learned about it recently? Doesn't that seem a bit too convenient for you? May appear that way, yes. But... as a headmaster, you probably have the tools available to get into her room. Yes, I will admit that. The academy has a master key that can be used to enter each of the students' dorms. Then you have the perfect way to get into her room and steal the rapier undetected. I suppose I did. However, there's one flaw in your logic. It's my understanding the school board wanted to keep this secret till the very end. Why would Bellwether, of all people, tell you about her betrayal? I imagine she wanted to taunt me with that information. We've long had our disagreements, and looking back, she may have resented me for that. At that point, there wasn't anything I could do to stop her. Really, I thought you and the professor were on good terms. I thought so too, but I suppose it was all facade. She was just biding her time until she could take my position as headmaster. He had to know about Bellwether's.
Objection!
Is this not where we do it?
Because the information...
Like, it has to be that piece. Like, it has to be this.
So we tried here.
Objection!
Like, it has to be this piece, though. And I don't
Because it's this one. But according to Jan, Bellwether revealed this plan a few weeks prior.
Objection!
Okay, here we go. Redmond, you said that you didn't know anything about Bellwether's plot before yesterday. You still have plans? You still plan on standing behind that claim? Of course I am. It is the truth. I'm sorry, Redmond, but you should really close your doors during your meetings. What? It is true that Bellwether revealed her plan to you during one of your meetings. In fact, Jan Hughes happened to overhear that same meeting. But he only overheard the part where the staff would be replaced. And that's the strangest part, Redmond. According to Mr. Hughes, this meeting occurred weeks ago.
You can't accuse the headmaster of perjury based on a rumor. Everything you just said is based on secondhand information.
Mr. Hughes distinctly overheard that the staff would be replaced with the arcane constructs. I can't speak. That is too specific and too accurate to assume that he misheard.
The professor must have only revealed her plan for the arcane constructs. That still doesn't prove that he knew about her treachery beforehand.
Professor Bellwether had no authority over the cleaning staff's employment. It would make sense for her to just reveal her plans for the arcane constructs. That would only make sense if he knew that Bellwether would be taking his job. So tell me one thing, Redmond. Why did you find the need to lie about this? Is it because you saw a need to establish an alibi? Redmond, I'm only going to ask you one more time. Did you murder Catherine Bellwether? Theodore Redmond had done something truly terrible. School rejected my proposed staffing budget. Won't be able to hire more custodians.
Of course they rejected it. Our current janitor simply needs to stop lazing about. They wouldn't have to spend all... Then you wouldn't have to spend all of your free time helping him.
How did you? Is that how they found out? Did you tell them?
I did.
Why? What I do after school hours is none of your concern.
It becomes my concern when the headmaster of my academy debases himself in such a manner. You were mopping floors alongside him like a common servant. Have you no shame?
What else was I supposed to do? You can't possibly expect one man to keep an entire school clean.
Hughes is clearly capable. The academy is spotless despite his lounging about.
Only because he's working during every waking hour. Barely has enough time to sleep.
Please, I've caught him napping on the job more times than I can count. Honestly, you coddle these animals far too much.
Professor Bellwether, I've called you here to discuss your treatment of certain students. This again. You remember Jillian Fletcher? He was a part of your advanced illusion track.
I remember failing him. His performance during the final exam was laughable.
They found his body in the lake last night. I had always warned you that something like this might happen. I understand you feel you have responsibilities to the kingdom, but our students are still human beings.
I fail to see how any of this is my responsibility.
Professor, surely even you must understand.
No, I think it's you who fails to understand. He may have been a mage, but he could never walk the path that a scaled lord's chosen with such plebeian constitution. What did you even think would happen? The real act of cruelty was placing that layabout next to our kingdom's best and brightest. What did you think happens to trash when they're faced with their betters?
You never allowed him the opportunity to succeed. Don't think I'm blind to what's been happening. I have received several reports that you've been harassing students admitted through the scholarship program.
Then take those reports to the school board, Redmond. If these urchins fall apart over the tiniest bit of criticism, then they have no place here. They can't handle it, Redmond. It's that simple. Maybe this incident will finally make you see the reason.
What do I do? How do I stop her? It's only a matter of time before the school board names her as the new headmaster. After that, I won't be able to protect anyone from her. I'll be powerless.
That's not how I see it.
I know exactly who it is. What?
You're clinging to shadows, Redmond. Titles, influence, reputation. They're all just illusions. Strip those away, and your Bellwether's equal.
If only it truly worked like that. Reality is far complicated than that.
Is it, though? Her friends on the school board can't pump blood through her veins. Those nobles she dotes on can't draw breath into her lungs. All are equal in death. The survivors are the ones who determine what will be. It doesn't matter if you're a commoner, a noble, or the scaled lord himself.
Oh, what are you saying?
You should fight for what you believe in. Do whatever it takes to create the universe you want.
Theodore Redmond had done something truly terrible. He had truly despised Catherine Bellwether with all of his heart. In his mind, this world was a better place without her in it. Yet, the sound of that rapier piercing her heart had been echoing endlessly within his head. It was as if her ghost were floating over his shoulder, torturing him by repeating her last anguished gasp. It made his stomach churn. He took no pleasure in taking her life, and his soul felt forever scarred from what he'd done.
But you've already come this far, haven't you?
I have already come this far. What a fine mess this is. What do you mean you're not done?
Headmaster!
So, you truly plan on pushing this, do you? I won't let anyone stop me from getting justice for Wallace. Well, your thesis sounds promising, Mr. Cuthbert, but I believe your arguments could use a little work. Da-da-dan! You think I killed Catherine Bellwether? Me. I am an elderly man in his late 80s. I can barely walk, much less wield a rapier. Okay, hold on. What do we have? We have the constructs. Did he have a construct in his office though? God, this music is so good. Wait, hold on. There's something that I'm thinking about. Now, unfortunately, he only has illusory, so we can't really use the necromancy, but I just had this thought. Do we know that the blood that, like... We know that the mend wounds was used to, like, heal up the scarring. But could he have done necrotic blight, killed her, then stabbed her? But how... That's the one issue I have, is the blood that came out onto the floor. Can we use these? Oh, the voice lines can only be done every so often. Stains. Like, I kind of... What are we pushing? Was alone and could not overpower... Wait, alone? Was he technically alone? Or is there a construct in his office? That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. It's the fact that there was a construct. Okay. I am right. But you and Bellwether weren't the only people in that room, were you? You needed the arcane construct to carry Bellwether's body. Oh yeah, I forgot the one that carried the body. It means that the construct would have already been in your office. And with your privileges, you could have easily programmed the construct to stab Bellwether for you. Even so, think about what would have transpired afterward. Do you recall Miss Steelwind's timeline of Bellwether's witnesses? With your theory, the construct would have spent more than an hour in the library. Having it there would have risked my so-called ruse from being discovered. Okay. When his thoughts contradict the evidence... I think it's this. Because there's more, like... I'm thinking it's this. It's one of these two. Maybe? Redmond, what you're clearly saying doesn't match with what you're thinking. What kind of weak is... Okay. How could you possibly... That's a really cool version of Redmond. Shit. Okay, intuition. The timing deduced from Ray Frega's testimonies were predicated on one thing. She saw Miss Bellwether exit your office after your meeting. However, if we assume that you're lying about when this meeting ended, your entire argument falls apart. Miss Frege would have encountered Bellwether after her death at 2:01 p.m. Miss Frege wouldn't have made a mistake like that. Miss Frege thought it was morning when she saw Miss Bellwether. She can't reliably tell the time. And what about the rapier, where the rapier was placed? If I really was the murderer, then it would mean I planted a weapon in young Wallace's locker. Several of the students had lockers there that I had access to. Wallace was one of my prize students. If I had to frame anyone, he would be the last person I chose. Where is the information that they switched the lockers around? You're right, Redmond. You wouldn't try to frame Wallace, but you would try to frame Miriam Frege. It would have been the perfect act of revenge, wouldn't it? You murder your treacherous co-worker and frame the daughter of the family that helped her. If Miriam had been implicated, the Inquisition would have immediately swept Bellwether's murder under the rug. But something went wrong, didn't it, Redmond? The label on Wallace's locker and Miriam's locker were switched. Anyone who saw that would have easily mixed them up. I am the headmaster of the Imperial Academy. I have records of all the students' lockers and where they're located. If I truly planned this, I would have known where Wallace's locker was. Simple change in labels wouldn't have led me to make a careless mistake like that. Shoot. Like, I'm thinking that it's still this. Right? Oh. But it wasn't you, was it? Your arcane construct was the one who planted the rapier in the locker. Oh, that makes sense. I bet you commanded it to place the rapier in the locker of Miriam Frege. But it saw the ID on Wallace's locker and assumed that it was Miriam's. This is... Redmond was desperately stammering. Miss Steele, say something.
What? Mr. Cuthbert, your theory may be plausible, but there's no evidence to support it.
That's right, you don't have any proof, do you? Saying that I could have committed the murders isn't the same as proving I didn't. But there's the logs. But they get cleaned regularly. Your arcane construct is still in the locker room where it planted the rapier. All we have to do is take a look inside it and we'll see the blood inside. Is that so, Mr. Cuthbert? But why did he still look so confident?
No, Mr. Cuthbert, I already checked inside that construct during my investigation. The interior was completely clean.
What? The construct's primary function is to assist and clean, dear Tyrion. They have a function that allows them to clean themselves inside and out. I still want to erase the magical traces. Healing spells may leave traces of necromancy, but so would a healing potion. With no evidence of blood, there may be a myriad of reasons why those traces are there. Well, we can still look at his command history, right?
Think about it, Mr. Cuthbert. You honestly think that the murderer would leave behind evidence like that? I'm sure that whoever orchestrated this plot, they ordered the construct to wipe its logs when it was finished.
Why do you, okay, here's my thing. To clear the logs, it would only make sense for maybe Bellwether, but honestly more than likely just the headmaster to be able to wipe the logs. That's right, Mr. Cuthbert. Your case against me is theoretical at best. But I suppose I could give you marks for trying. thought of everything. Did you really get rid of all the evidence? I was running out of options. I still have one option left. Ha! So becoming a glare like that, young Tyrion. He's doing it again. I need to bring myself back to that moment with Garrett Pierce. Everything was at stake for Wallace in this trial. He endured the collective hatred of everyone who didn't understand what he was doing, yet he stayed true to his ideals no matter how much it harmed him. He studied necromancy for all the betterment of mankind. His life and future were in my hands, and I would not see his potential destroyed.
Naught can remain concealed.
I activated the empowered eye again. Redmond did a good job covering his tracks, but there was no such thing as the perfect crime. There has to be something he forgot to get rid of. Let's see. Had to do everything I could to shift guilt away from myself. Did I leave holes in my alibi? No, I accounted for everything. There's no possible way I left any evidence behind. Okay. I'll start going through the evidence. Why was the construct in the locker room? Shouldn't have been there if it had followed my orders. No matter, it wiped its logs, that's all that matters. They have nothing. So he did order to wipe his logs. In order to cover all of his tracks, it probably would have done this last. Can't believe I put myself in this mess for Bellwether of all people. Why do I feel remorse for her? She deserved what happened to her. There's nothing for me to use. I did everything I could to cast doubt off Frigga's brat. Can't believe Valerie placed a trace of necromancy on the body. To make matters worse, the contract placed the evidence in a wrong locker. So he did send the contract to the locker to plant the evidence. He must have also fabricated the documents that accused Miriam of cheating. It's all to make her look like the murderer, but this doesn't give any new information to work with. There's nothing for me to use. Okay, that's all the same. Okay. Contract orders were clear. Plant the body in lecture hall 2B, then plant the evidence in Frigga's locker. Supposed to leave the storage room afterward. What happened? Interesting. The contract wasn't supposed to be in the locker room. Wait, he ordered the contract to go to the storage room. Should have done it after it was finished planting evidence in the locker room. But we found it in the locker room. Okay. Right, the body was reported earlier than Redmond expected. That meant he probably started the lockdown while the contract was in the locker room. How does this change anything?
What if...
Wait. Nope.
Maybe.
Right, the series of commands would have been interrupted. Wait a minute. Okay. Once, like a task, like everything following. If Redmond was trying to cover his tracks, the contract's final command would be to wipe its memory. But if its orders were interrupted by the lockdown, then... Miss Steelwind, I have nothing more to ask this witness.
What? You're not giving up, are you? Yeah, I thought so, but how are you going to prove he did it if he's not on the stand?
Don't worry, the next witness will be all I need.
Next witness? That look on your face isn't one of resignation.
It's nothing but desperate bravado. Now, if you'll excuse me.
You've let him get away, Mr. Cuthbert. I hope you know what you're doing.
I do, Steelwind. First, I'd like for the Inquisition to bring the Arcane construct in the Academy's locker room.
We've already established the murderer could have wiped its history.
Please, just humor me for a second.
Fine. Bailiff, please relay Mr. Cuthbert's request to Commander White.
Yay, we have the Arcane constructs on the stand. It's not a parrot, but it's okay.
Well, here's your construct. I hope you know what you're doing, Mr. Cuthbert.
Construct, what are your orders? Please recite your command history. Reporting. Command 1, stand by in Headmaster's office. Command 2, await vocal signal for attack from Theodore Redmond. Redmond stood up from the gallery, his face turning from confusion into terrified realization. Steelwind watched him carefully, clutching the handle of her cane. Command 3, treat Bellwether as a hostile entity and neutralize. Construct, Whitefjord. Huddle. Before he could finish his order, the prosecutor whipped out her cane and pointed it square at the headmaster. The headmaster tensed as his body tightened and he fell over, restrained by magical energy. Struggled against the spell to no avail. He could only watch through gritted teeth as the construct continued. Miss Steelwind.
Excuse the interruption. Please continue.
Command 4, await vocal signal, leave from Theodore Redmond. Command 5, move to classroom 2B. Reply to any inquiries with voice line number 3. Command 6, remove Catherine Bellwether from interior frame and place on floor. Thank you, Construct. You can stop now. I think we all know the rest. But just to be clear, who gave you this series of commands? The commands were provided by Headmaster Theodore Redmond.
Oh, so Eris wasn't involved in this? I thought Eris was involved in this.
But how? I ordered the Construct to wipe his command history. Redmond, constructs don't follow the same logic that humans do. They're prone to error when their commands are impossible to execute. Impossible? How are my commands impossible? You were the one who made it impossible. You activated the lockdown system. The lockdown? Imagine you never expected anyone to go to Lecture Hall 2B. But the Yanos twins discovered the body earlier than you expected. You had no choice to immediately activate the lockdown system when it was reported, would have been suspicious otherwise. However, the contract was still in the locker room when you did this. So that's why it was there. The contract finished its task in the locker room, but then it tried to follow your next command. It attempted to move to the storage room, but was prevented from doing so. Completion of that command was impossible, so the series of commands was stopped before it wiped its history. No. Theodore Redmond, you ordered your contract to murder Catherine Bellwether. You had it place the murder weapon in a locker to frame Miriam Frege. And you had your construct's testimony to prove it. That is your last move, Redmond. That's checkmate.
I can't believe it. How could you do something like this, Headmaster?
She was going to take everything away from me. My position, my academy, my students, everything would be gone. It was going to be stolen by her and the Freges.
Why didn't you say anything? I could have.
Don't you dare stand there and act ignorant, Lady Steelwind. Do you think the Freges acted alone? The Grand General is also on the school board, and he endorsed this plan just as much as they did.
What?
I have nothing to say to you. I thought you were different. I listened to you and the prince's lies about societal reform. In the end, you were just like the rest of them. By the Scale Lord, what have I done? I was even willing to sacrifice poor Wallace. Why did I saw that?
What does Eris have to benefit from any of this, though?
Why did I do this? It appears we have a full confession. The court seems no reason to prolong this any further. Bailiff, please escort the witness to a holding cell.
Mr. Cuthbert, you really did it.
Feels amazing, right? Like a big weight being lifted from your shoulders.
It does, but Headmaster Redmond, what am I going to do now? Headmaster Redmond was the only reason I could even attend the academy. If school board replaces him with someone like Bellwether.
Come on, don't think like that. You've been acquitted. You still have your freedom.
I wanted to agree, but the study of necromancy was outlawed. Without Redmond's support, there weren't many places he could learn it. And then there was staff at the Imperial Academy.
Hey, not you two.
Sorry, but Valentina, Valerie, and Jan, they're all gonna lose their jobs.
Come on. You found the truth and you put a murderer behind bars. You saved Wallace.
She's right. As we exited the courtroom, we were greeted by Miss Tamora. At the end of the day, you saved Wallace from a wrongful conviction. You did what you set out to do. You should be proud of yourself for that. I just wish I could do more.
Nope, none of that. I'm taking all of us to that restaurant we went to last time.
Do you remember how much that place cost?
Don't worry, I have plenty of gold.
Am I the only one on this team not making any money? Why don't you meet us there, Celeste? I need to talk with Tyrion for a moment. Wait, is she gonna be the next one in charge? Didn't she also have a meeting with someone too? I'm trying to see if I remember correctly.
All right. Let's go, Wallace.
Okay. You used that ability again, didn't you? She didn't appear to be praising me. I did. I didn't really have a choice. The Eye of Horus is a powerful tool, Tyrion. That's twice now that you've used that ability to get out of a tough spot. You can't keep relying on it if you want to grow. One day, you'll find a witness it won't work on. It's worked for me this far, though. But I suppose you're right. I'll try to rely on it less next time. And that marked the end of another case of my career as a defense attorney. Another life saved and another murderer brought to justice. But I still couldn't shake this feeling of uneasiness. Was it guilt for what would happen to the faculty staff? Or was it something else? I can't believe it. It was really Theodore this entire time. We talk about something else. Thinking about all that is really bumming me out.
I hope I'm not interrupting. Oh, great. What do you want? I've always tried to act with more compassion than my fellow aristocrats, but I suppose I'm still blind to the privilege I was born with. I am truly sorry if my words during the trial were insensitive to your circumstances. I've been speaking with the students here. There's quite a bit of outrage about your firing. Wait, really? The idea of a machine doing your job doesn't seem to sit well with the student body. While not everyone was as sympathetic as I'd hoped, most everyone agrees that your leaving would be a tremendous loss. I've spoken with the head of the student council. We believe that we can convince the school board to keep you on staff. You can do that? But is this what you want, Valentina? I don't see the working conditions here improving without Redmond as headmaster. Well, we've got to make a living somehow. There's actually a merchant out in Orane who takes an interest in people like you and your sister. He's recently purchased a condemned building in the city, and he's looking to turn it into a restaurant. I remember how delicious your meals were when I was a student here, and I'm certain he would hire you if I asked. Really? Would you be interested in that? It's a bit of a gamble, but your employment wouldn't be left to the whims of the nobility.
God, I feel like I've been doing too many of these because I feel like my voice is getting like weirdly scratchy when I do Aria.
Of course! Good. I'll contact him later today. You'll probably be hearing from him soon. She's not so bad for a noble. I don't know if I buy it, but you've heard about what her dad's been doing, haven't you? Don't be so pessimistic. She seems nice.
I'm kind of with Valentina on this one. Something's always been up with the Steel Winds. You remember that scandal all those years ago?
No, actually, what happened?
Alright, you two were probably just kids when it all went down, but it was big news at the time. That girl's mom went on a rampage and massacred a full village full of farmers, children included.
Skilled lord.
Lucio Steelwind's violent streak didn't start with these rebellions. I think they had a bad marriage or something. He couldn't wait to get rid of her. After what she did, he personally prosecuted her and demanded a death sentence. He even carried out the execution himself.
He really is a monster, isn't he?
Yeah. I'm not sure if I'd trust anyone raised by a guy like that.
See? There's always something up with these aristocrats. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not getting my hopes up until I hear from this merchant from Orane. But hey, if I do get that restaurant, we'll need someone to help keep it clean. You interested, Jan?
Cleaning one small restaurant instead of an entire school? I'm falling asleep just thinking about it.
Okay, just make sure you still do your job, okay?
Man, Steelwind's been keeping the old-timer here for hours. What's there even to ask at this point? Turned out she doesn't trust his testimony. Something about his memories doesn't match up with the crime scene. I mean, he is pretty old. Yeah, well, we found that damn symbol etched into his desk. Or what did she call it? The purple mark? Oh, for the love of not this again. Look, The little lady wants to chase the boogeyman, just let her. At least this time she's doing it personally instead of dragging us into it.
Cast sleep.
Hey! What's up with... Wait a minute. I remember it now, but how?
That was close. My elation over meeting him almost made me forget.
Eris, what are you doing here? Why? Wait, it was you. You put those ideas into my mind. You're the one who told me to murder Bellwether.
Oh, you people never fail to amuse me. I didn't make you do anything. Everything you did that day, all the planning, all the preparation, that came from your own mind. All I have to say, and I have to say, I was quite entertained with the scheme you came up with. You even broke into Lady Prega's room. I never thought you were capable of such things, young Theodore. It is such a shame, though. I wish I could have gotten Wallace to play the villain instead of you.
Eris! I'm not even kidding. If Eris ends up being the villain for all of this, I'm gonna be like really excited, but I hope it's not something where it's like, oh, she was like tricked into doing blah blah blah. I'm like, I want her to stay true to being the villain. I want her to keep... You wear that title with honor, Eris.
Could you imagine if he turned? Armies of the undead running rampant in the streets. It would have been spectacular. Alas, even I couldn't corrupt him. He falters in every other situation. But when it comes to necromancy, his will is adamantine.
Answer me. Who are you? What are you?
Who am I? I'm the ruler of the Sixth Circle, the Lord of Shadows.
I'm not gonna do that, like, screaming really loud, because I can't do that voice and enunciate, and doing it in a scream is gonna be impossible. So you get, Oh my gosh! Oh, I need Eris to be, like, full crazy. I need her to stick to it, and it's not just something possessing her. I am really excited, okay? I am really, 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 really excited about all of this. That's where we're gonna end it. Hope you guys enjoyed. I am really excited to get into the next episode because it is just, like, these have just been so fun to do. Like, sometimes I get a little bit nervous, especially doing the voices, but then I just, like, get in and it's so much fun. They have been so, not just entertaining, but it's been, like, so fascinating getting into this. And I will say, finding this after recently finishing Phoenix Wright has just been a pure delight. And I'm just extremely excited to see what happens next. But we will find that out next time. But I still hope y'all enjoyed anyways. I'll see y'all then. Bye.